carrying like a backpack or something. Hey Rail Spike, thank you. Welcome. Arctic Suran says this is a unique art style indeed. Thanks. How is everybody doing today? Where are you joining us from? Let's see who we got here. What is behavior? Colnita. Frankenstein. Marcel. See, now because I made like one or two figures that are detailed, I can make all the rest very loose, because then the eye is kind of like, oh, I guess they look like the detailed one, even though there aren't any details in it. So it's a cool trick. The way I'm kind of doing the lines is I'm using a 0.1 multiliner mainly for the detail, and then a 0.5 for the outlines. But then when I finish, I take a brush pen, and that's where like when the line weight decisions begin. So it's an incredible drawing, congrats. Thank you, thanks for joining. Now I'm kind of trying to connect the characters, like up until now I made them as like individuals, and now I'm kind of adding details in between them to have them seem as they belong in the same space. If you have any questions, feel free to throw them in the chat. I'll do my best to answer. kind of painting, drawing ground elements, like rocks and cracks. See if I can adjust this just a bit. Do a new character here. Big hat, so you want to be cold. both hat and long hair. It's gonna be like on his knees, waiting to see what the angel has to say. Like this dirty cloth on him, long sleeve shirt. Can I ask, are you just freestyling this, or did you make a sketch beforehand? Yeah, I made a few sketches and like thumbnails, and I also gathered a lot of references for the different people. If you want, I can share them later. So I kind of know the different people I want to draw. I have reference for their poses, reference for their clothing and wardrobe. Not so much expressions for this one because there's no close-ups on any one of them. And then overall idea of the composition. So I did a lot of homework before starting this, and sometimes I do the sketch on the actual paper before, like with a pencil, and sometimes I do it, if it's something that needs a lot of planning, I do it on like a different page, so I can do multiple like versions of it until I get it right. And now it's a mix of like following the ideas of the thumbnails and kind of like improvising. The biggest challenge with this sketch is like is the rendering, because usually when I do like a close-up of a character, I know exactly how much I need to render them. But when it's long shots, it's harder because you have to omit a lot of details, and you need to constantly choose which details are the most important to indicate what you want to say. So for example here, how far along should I go with the rendering of his clothes? You know, would some lines wrapping around the form do it, or do I need to really go there and do all the folds and stuff? So if it was a close-up, I would definitely do all the folds, because it's a long shot. And by long shot I mean that you see them from far away and not from like, it's not a portrait, that's what I'm saying. So what I do, I usually do more details than I should, and then when I finish the illustration, if I feel like it's too busy, I use the markers to group the different areas of interest and to simplify it. I feel like it's easier for me than the other way around. If it's too simple, then I'm kind of stuck. But if it's too busy, I can always simplify it with just kind of like grouping it with markers. And by grouping it, I mean just grabbing a busy chunk and just turning it from super detailed area to like a flat black or flat gray. That makes sense. Head, I kind of want to indicate that it's like one of those fur hats. And I'm doing it with both the hatching, but also with like the edge, the sharp kind of like edges, gives it an illusion of like it's a fur material. Okay. I think I'm done with this guy. So he'll be, again, like my main guy here, so the people around him would be less detailed. What's the purple ball? That's like it's like ergonomic grip, so it helps you draw without any pain. It makes it really comfortable to hold the pen. So if you draw for hours, then you usually get like a wrist pain. But with that ball, it prevents you to put too much pressure on it, and then you don't get pain. So I recommend it. It's like you can find on Amazon. It's like $2 for 10 of those, and it's super helpful. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I found about it the hard way, because I was doing the drawing for like 7 hours straight, and I had like wrist pain for like 2 weeks afterwards. But it was so fun making that drawing, I couldn't stop. And then I started researching it, and I found out about this grip ball. But also you should, pace yourself. So not more than like a few hours a day. It's only a drawing; it can wait. Is that you? Yeah, right. Yeah, no. I don't do 5 tigers in 5-point perspective. Do you notice how it's very trendy now to paint, to draw in 5-point perspective, like do those like fish islands and draw stuff in it? I wonder why. I mean, I know why, it's because it's really hard to do, so that's like how people are showing up. But I never found it appealing, because like you're drawing like a photo with a lens on it. I think the whole cool thing about drawing and painting is that it doesn't have to look like a photo. But once you kind of force on it camera artifacts or lenses, then like what's the point? Just take the photo. What I like to do in an illustration is things that I cannot achieve with a camera. I feel like that's also where this medium shines at. Are you finishing today? Sylvester asks. Probably not. It's probably gonna take me a few days, because there are a bunch of more people to do at the bottom, and then I'm gonna do more at the top. Now at the top, they're not gonna be as much of them, and they're gonna be like those flying angels on horses. They're gonna be like 4 or 5. So most of the details is here at the bottom, but there is a lot of them. The reason why it's multiple figures is because I wanted to convey the idea of a ritual. I feel like one thing that really indicates any ritual is like a lot of people do it together, like a ceremony. So I'm like, let's see if I can pull off like a crowd scene and see how that looks like. Because I usually don't do that. I usually do like portraits or just like individual characters and close up. So I wanted to challenge myself and see if I can pull something like this off. I actually done a lot of those in the past, but as paintings and digital. So this is like, let's see if I can do it with a pen and some markers. And I'm working in a method called No-Tan, which is you work in black and white values first, including marker work, not just pen and ink, and then you glaze in the colors on top. So it's actually very minimal color work, and it's only after you establish the values. And I really like this method because it helps you really nail your perfect values, because you don't have the hues to distract you. When you're doing traditional coloring work or painting work, when you choose your colors, also choose your values, and it's just another layer of complexity. So I like to separate them and to prioritize values, because I feel like they have way more effect on the drawing or the painting. I feel like if the works, the values work. I mean, then the colors, the hues are just stylistic choice. But if the values don't work, then no colors you choose would save it. It just make it look weird. De esta cuando I don't understand. I don't understand this Spanish sentence. Maybe let me translate it. Or someone can translate it. But yeah, unfortunately, I don't speak Spanish. No hablo español. For the details here, I'm just going to do some hatching. Do you know any other languages? I know a little bit of Greek, a little bit of Italian. I know a little bit of Spanish, but not a lot. Welcome Jupiter, distract mode. How is everybody doing today? Where are you guys joining us from? If you're in Europe, is it still super hot out there? I've heard there is a major heat wave. I also kind of like that I have different patches that are fully detailed and then some areas of rest with just like handful of lines. Kind of gives the eye room to breathe. Just gonna connect them. Broken Matter, welcome. Then this is beautiful. Thank you. Happy you like it. Yeah, so whoever asked before about the sketch, so it takes me like between a week and 2 weeks to prep for an illustration. Even doesn't matter the illustration, even if it's like a small one. And then about 3 or 4 days to actually make the drawing. And my prepping is collecting references and doing thumbnails and sometimes even more big detailed pencil sketches. And the references that I collect are for poses, for costumes, for expressions, and for color references. And then I have all these references, and then in my sketch, in my thumbnails, I try to mix and match them and see what looks like. And then once I have something I'm happy with, I take it to complete rendering, and this is usually the part that I film and upload. I was thinking of doing a video about the prepping, but I feel like I don't know if that'll be boring, but maybe I'll do it in the future. Bring a different pen for this. Do you learn to make art in the streets or in school? I've learned mainly during work. So I work currently and in the past with very talented people. And I feel like, I've also learned in school, but in school I was learning more the theory because I went to film school. Actually applying it into an illustration I've learned from on the job. So places like Blizzard or PlayStation or Disney, Netflix, DreamWorks. You work with so many talented people. You kind of absorb. And when I say work, I mean you attend dailies with them. Dailies means everybody, all the artists are showing their stuff and discussing it every day. So you get to learn a lot from just like being a fly on the wall. And then you can kind of do with the information whatever you want. And it's like real world scenarios and situations. It's not like school when they like give you assignments and stuff. It has nothing to do with reality. You get to see how real professionals, what they do when they are assigned with a task that no one really sees but them and the director. So you get what I call like their honest, their honest workflow and honest take on it. That makes sense. Broken Matter says, please, more about the prep. I tend to spend a lot of prep time for my work and always felt kind of bad about taking my time. Oh, not at all. Prep is the most important thing. I feel like if you're doing your prep, you know what, maybe I would do a video on it. Because I feel like the prep is where the thinking happens. Later, the drawing is the execution. That's where you kind of need to think only about execution and all the problems that you get during your executing your idea, but you shouldn't think about your ideas while executing it. I mean, at least for me, I like to separate them. So the way I'm not thinking about the ideas while I execute, I also don't like to execute while I'm coming up with ideas, if that makes sense. So my prep sketches and thumbnails, they're super ugly, and that's kind of like why I don't share them or show them, because they're like blueprints. They're not meant to be pretty. They're just figuring out like compositions and ideas and stuff like that. But if you get it done, if you nail it right at the prepping stage, then everything later is just like a bonus, you know. If it looks good as a thumbnail or as an inspiration board, which I actually think it's the harder part to do, coming up with a good idea. I feel like most of the bad drawings that you see are not because they're technically bad, and sometimes they're actually really good. It's usually because the underlying idea is not original, or it's cheesy, or it's been done, you know. So, and as prep, that also means, you know, taking inspiration from wherever you want or need, and whatever inspires you is okay. Like I like to go to museums and galleries and bookstores, but I also like just, you know, to go to the beach and to the movies and whatever make you think of like, oh, you know, it would be cool if such and such and such. That's already a beginning of a good idea. And now it's just a matter of the research stage, which is finding as much as you can about your idea and researching it, and then getting more ideas and more ideas and more specific ideas. Like for this illustration, so because the idea was ceremony, I watched some movies by this guy called, I think his name is Sergei Parajanov, I think so. But one of his movies is called Color of Promulgate, the fruit, I don't know how to pronounce it. And that movie is all about rituals that he made, he made up. And there was so many ideas there that I took, like the ideas for costumes and posing and expressions and materials. And so once you collect all these references and you know everything, you know all the poses you want and all the expressions and the wardrobe and the environment, then execution becomes easier and easier, because you don't have to figure out anything while you do it. You just need to stay close to your reference. Yeah. So I would definitely spend more time on that. Raymond said, I am a traditional artist. Is there a way for someone with a painting background to find work with company like Blizzard? Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, the work itself would be done digital, but it's just a tool. So, and when they look at your portfolio, they don't care about the tools that you use. But if they hire you, you will need to work. I mean, you would need to work very, very fast. so digital would be the way to go in any job. But they don't judge you by how good you know Photoshop or Procreate. They judge you by if they like your paintings. And they assume that if you're a good painter and you don't know Photoshop or whatever tools they're using, which is Photoshop, then they'll be able to teach you that in like a week. Alright, starting to look like something. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, when I was there, they actually hired a lot of painters because we were working on painterly cinematics for World of Warcraft, and the idea was to make it feel like a comic book comes to life. So there was no like 3D or any of that stuff they usually do. It was all like hand painted stuff and slightly animated. So that was very cool. So you see, now I'm kind of using his costume to frame better his hand. I don't know if you guys can see. Maybe you'll see in a second. Broken Matter says, "Thank you so much for the advice on prep. I feel quite a bit less bad about my process." Oh, you shouldn't feel bad at all, ever, about doing anything regarding art. It should be fun. And if you feel like it helps you, or if it's important, then you should keep doing that and never feel bad for doing prep or for not doing prep. It's the goal of art is to have a place in your life that it's the one place where you don't feel bad about things. You just feel good and you enjoy it. That's the only rule. You have to enjoy it. And you can do whatever you want, so there's no one cares as long as you enjoy it. It sounds like people care, and that a lot of people make rules and they tell you what you need to do and how fast you need to do stuff or slow, but don't listen to them. Just the most important rule is for you to enjoy it and like your art and feel like you're exploring and learning stuff about yourself and the world. That's the only rule. Alright, so now I got a few more detailed people here, which means I can kind of start doing some more people here, but they're gonna be super simple, because once you see the foreground detailed people, then the background people it's almost like they're out of focus, but not in a blurry sense, but more in like a level of detail, low level of details. Alright, who we got in the chat? Welcome, Pattern, so further, Colnit Art, Sylvester, Broken Matter, J Miller Art, sorry, Dominic. Welcome everybody. Welcome. Alright. Pattern Supporter says, thank you. You're welcome. Thanks for joining. Also, if you're interested in painting like or drawing faces small like this, I have a good tutorial I can send you. I'll just finish up this guy here and I'll find it. Let's give him a hat. Broken Matter says, I happen to kinda live in an art book museum. What? So about a month before I do anything, I'll run through all my books, and my wife tells me to be more productive. I keep saying, that's what I'm doing. Hell yeah! You need to explain to her that art books is part of the job. Which I actually think it's true. I also have tons of books. Because that's your, visual library and inspiration, right? I mean, can you also send me that tutorial, please? Yes, tutorial, please. Yeah. I'll pull it up in just 1 second. Just gonna finish that guy here. Okay. Let me find it. Okay, so it's a guy on YouTube called Sketching Scotty, and the video called How to Simplify Small Faces. It's a guy named Scotty. He also has a Patreon, and he teaches how to take like a photo and draw it, but like in this kind of like style where it's like 5 lines to get the essence of the expression. And he has like fun tricks and tips. So I watched some of his stuff before starting these illustrations. Alright, so now I keep on saying that I'm gonna add more people and that they're gonna be simplified, and then I keep adding details on. But now I'm really gonna simplify them. Luisa says, wow. Thanks. Welcome, Mital. Wow, this one looks incredible and intricate, Tomer. How awesome. Thank you, Mital. How's the hike? Quetinta into... Oh, another comment. Not in English. Let me see if I can translate it. Hold on. Google translates it. Comment by Tuiza. Okay, let me translate. Tuiza says, what an interesting ink, right? If it were me putting my hand on top of the drawing, I would have already smudged everything. Haha. Tuiza, you are correct. And I am gonna smudge it at some point, I can tell. I'm not sure how it hasn't happened up until now. Okay. So I feel like now I'm just gonna do a bunch of, because that guy came out bold and I like it, so I'm just gonna make the rest of them bold as well. Almost like monks. Rock and I say it was awesome getting to watch you work on this wonderful piece, and thank you so much for the support. But I'm out of free time. I'll see you next time. Yeah, thanks for joining. Jason says hi. Macchiato says, what's the tool around your marker? So this is a ergonomic grip. It's like a sponge, and it just helps you draw for longer and without feeling pain in your wrist. So it's a nicer way to hold your pen. It feels better. It prevents you from squeezing it. Thanks a lot. Yeah. Guys, let me go get a glass of water, and I'm gonna be right back. I'm also gonna bring the grip sponges to show you how it looks like. So I'll be back in a second. All right, I am back. So that's the it's called egg shape pencil grips. Let me know if you can see it. Yeah, it costs like $2 or something. All right, let's keep going. Now it's literally just gonna be small spheres to indicate heads. This is where the drawing starts to get abstract. that I'm not even drawing the faces. I'm just drawing roughly silhouettes, not even silhouettes. And hopefully, with the help of the foreground detailed character, the effect should be that they're gonna look like heads. Silhouette here a bit. See, I'm adding just random marks. It kind of makes it look like heads, more detailed. I guess that's how you would do like an out of focus version with a pen, where you can't really blur anything, so you just reduce the level of detail as you recede into the background. And I kind of like that. So I'm just going to do more of those. Alright. Who do we got in the chat? We have Pattern Supporter, Cornita Art, Kels Goody. Oh, what a cool name. Just Kels Goody, and Jay Miller. Welcome everybody. Where are you joining me from? And what do you think of this amazing music that I found? Give me some feedback so I'll know if you like it or not. Hello, this is so cool, says Blee Bumblebee. Thank you. Welcome. Happy Sunday? Is today Sunday? Yeah. A bit closer to the camera, so I'm adding more details here. It goes away. See like how many details I put here, but here it's like farther away. Like I'm just gonna do this as a head. Or like this, you know, just like really indication. It doesn't even have to be like the perfect silhouette. Just some sort of a mark with an organic shape will make it kind of look like it's someone. Actually, we'll add some straight lines here to break the silhouette so it wouldn't be so repetitive. And also because it looks cool to have like a few straight lines between all those spheres. Mozart Jam Nadi sends fire, thanks. Daga is a bit closer to us, so he'll get some more love and attention, details. Give him a hat so he won't be cold. add some more wind detail on her dress. Let's adjust the camera a bit. Jafar R said, "Wow, such patience. You're amazing." Oh, thank you. Appreciate you saying that. I guess you do need patience, but I get in the flow when I'm doing those, especially when I'm doing them live, because whenever I need a break, I just look at the chat and kind of like talk to you guys. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I'm fine talking while drawing. I kind of like it, because then I'm not too much in my head about the drawing. Okay, so I made another detailed one here because her dress doesn't have a lot of details, so I wanted to contrast it by having a guy with details here. But now all around him, it's just gonna be random ghostly silhouettes. Because I got this guy here with all the details, so I feel like I don't need more at this point. Okay. I think that's pretty good for that section. Let's let's move to this section. Can you guys see it? Now let me adjust the camera to the right a bit. Okay, so Rai says, aren't worried that you'll make a mistake because once ink hits paper, it's like non-removable. Yeah, you're totally right, and I am worried about it. But I feel like if I make a mistake, which by the way, I made tons of them during this process. First of all, it kind of gets lost in the sauce because of how complicated this drawing is anyway. And also, you can kind of doodle, even though you can't erase it, you can kind of doodle your way around it, if that makes sense. So, for example, if I made the eye wrong or the nose wrong, I just kind of doodle something else instead or on top of it. Also, what is a mistake, right? I mean, your mistakes are just a part of your style, and so I would embrace them. I actually think that's the advantage of working with pens, that you don't second guess yourself all the time. You just kind of like learn to accept what comes out of your hand, and if it doesn't look good, you just kind of draw over it until it looks good. Or because once you draw with a pencil, it's really hard, especially if you're a beginner, it's very hard to commit to anything because you can always try again and erase and try again, and that's like, it's no fun. Your mistakes looks like an intentional masterpiece. Ah, thank you. I mean, I can see them, but I'm glad that you think they're okay. But I feel like the mistakes is what gives it character and like human-made feel, you know. And also uniqueness. Like everyone has their own different mistakes, which is what differentiates their style than other people. So you should lean into them rather than try to hide them. If that makes sense. I would even argue, this might be controversial, that you need to intentionally not make mistakes, but put limitations on yourself that would bring out your uniqueness. For example, using super cheap art supplies that makes your strokes or paper don't look like it doesn't bring the best out of your hand, and then you have to do compromises, and that's like when the creativity starts, right? So when you have limitations and you're trying to work with them, and that's where you kind of like you bring your own voice and your own solution into the table. Wow, we're almost finishing with this crowd down here. What do you think, guys? Once I'll finish in a bit, I'll zoom out so you can see the entire thing, but I think it looks cool. I've done a detailed guy. I gotta do some more ghost people, which are starting to become my favorite. Break the silhouette here a bit. All right. Believe Bumblebee, excited to see your finished work. Love the details so much. Thank you so much. So I'm finished with the bottom part. This is it. So that's the bottom part. This is the crowd, and they're kind of praying, right? And she's like the angel, and that's another angel. And in the next session, I'm gonna do all the angels in the top. So thanks for joining, guys, and join me next time for the rest of it. Have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll see you next time.